Well, we'll get started. Welcome, everybody. Start as you like. Um, we're going to work with the Coregeous ball today, and if you don't have a Coregeous ball, I'll show you guys how to use a um, roll up a blanket and use that. But before we get there, like I said, you can start as you like, seated, lying back. It can be a combination of both, and kind of as you settle in, invite in a sense of gratitude for taking this time out of your day to breathe and move and work on those relationships with your body and with your breath. And then from that sense of gratitude, go ahead and start to bring your attention into the body. So coming out of the thinking, the list planning, the rumination, all the circus that the mind likes to engage in, and maybe just feel maybe your sit bones or the back part of your heels, your shoulders, or anything really that's touching the surface. Could even be your hands as they're resting on you. And see if from there you can start to almost feel your sense of your body expand just from those points, those initial points of contact, moving out. It's like a stone dropping into a pool. So those ripples move outward. And as you feel your awareness, your attention ripple outward, if you start to notice or feel your body, maybe it relaxes, maybe it wants to make an adjustment. And if it wants to do the latter, go ahead and allow it to do that. I think it's the body's way of thanking you for paying attention to it, thanking the mind for paying attention to it. And then from that awareness of the body, we'll start to then get in touch with the breath. So this animating force of the body that helps us move and helps us live. So again, like we did with the noticing the body, maybe start where the uh, breath enters and exits the body. Maybe it's the tips of the nostrils, or if we're having sinus issues today, it could be the slightly parted lips. But maybe first we just notice the coolness of the air as it moves in and the heat as it moves out. And possibly from that sensation of hot and cold, you can start to feel the movements that the breath generates in the body. So maybe you're starting to feel here in the beginning, just the shoulders, the collarbones lifting as you inhale, and then falling as you exhale. As the body begins to relax, you may feel the breath begin to deepen. Inhale and exhale, lengthen. As the breath moves more of the body, the action of breathing moves more of the body. You may begin to feel it down in the ribs, the belly, depending on how you're situated, maybe even into the pelvis and the thighs. But just keeping in mind here, we're not trying to do any kind of specific pranayama technique, just watching the breath, feeling the breath, feeling the body relax as you breathe. And noticing as the body relaxes, the breath becomes deeper, more full, without any associated grasping or gulping or gasping. Another minute or so here, and then seeing if you can wrap the awareness of the breath with the awareness of the body. Then go ahead and open the eyes, nice and easy, and grab if you're in the studio or if you have one at home, your Coregeous ball. And if you don't have a Coregeous ball, you can use a blanket. And I'll just show you how I like to roll the blanket here first. If you don't have a Coregeous ball, or you could use a Pilates ball if you have one of those. Just kind of, I like to roll up the folded end, maybe a quarter to a third of the way, and the tail is going to come towards the foot of the mat. And then we're all Coregeous ball or blanket. We're going to lay over the prop, kind of in between the belly button and the sternum. So we're going to work, kind of help the diaphragm unwind here a little bit. This is also a fabulous, fabulous way to uh, increase lymph flow in the body. And take a second. This can be a little bit intense if you haven't done this in a long time, and it's been a while since we've done this. But take a second to maybe adjust the ball up or down, or if you decide this isn't for me, you can always kind of lay on your belly and breathe. You can do these breathing exercises with us. And you can be up in like sphinx-ish arms, or if you've got a little bit more play and relaxation, you can always rest your head on stacked hands. But just tap into the breath. See if you can feel, really concentrate around the pelvis, the hips, the abdominal muscles, and invite those to relax. A lot of times when the body encounters pressure, the first instinct is to tense up. And if you can train the body to relax with pressure, not tense up, you can start to unwind all that some of that residual tension that gets uh, set, yeah, that's stitched into your muscles and your fascia. And then from here, we're going to do a simple contract, relax breathing exercise. So really tap into that nice relaxed cadence of your inhale and your exhale. Couple rounds, just really focusing on that. And then at the top of your next inhale, you're going to hold the breath for about 3 or 4 seconds and tighten up your abdominal muscles. So inhale, hold the breath, me 2, 3, 4, and exhale. Relax the muscles, release the breath. And at the bottom, hold for about 2, 3, 4. Inhale. Pause at the top, hold, contract. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. And pausing at the bottom, the exhale, 2, 3, 4. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhaling, contracting, 2, 3, 4, and exhaling. And then relaxing, 2, 3, 4. And then the last time, inhaling, holding and contracting, 2, 3, 4, and then exhaling. And holding at the bottom, 2, 3, and 4. And then just let the breath be natural. You may notice that it's a little bit easier to breathe around that prop. And then maybe if it feels like it would be advantageous, just kind of maybe rock the hips from side to side, nice and slow. And we'll come back to center. Take another breath. And then we'll shift and we're going to bring that prop, be it the Coregeous ball or the blanket, to your left hip crease. So if you have had, I should have said this in the beginning, if you have had any kind of abdominal hernia, um, don't do this, and I'll put this in the email. Same thing if you had any kind of inguinal hernia, you don't want to do this here in the hip crease, but that Coregeous ball is going to come right there, and then your other legs, this would be my right leg, will kind of post out to the side, so you're kind of in an elevated half frog. And same thing here, we'll just let that hip, that thigh, that side of the pelvis just melts against the therapy ball or the prop. And then you can maybe move very easily forwards and backwards. So kind of moving towards the top of your mat and towards the bottom of your mat. So maybe a couple inches each way. Coming into in the very lower part of the abdomen and the upper part of the quadricep muscles. And you can maybe take that motion from side to side. And then finding a nice spot where you can relax and you feel supported. We'll take a couple more breaths, just breathing. You may even notice some of the deeper musculature and layers of connective tissue on on top of the prop, relaxing a little bit more. Maybe even feeling your glutes unwind. Maybe even feeling the hamstrings relax. And then we will ease on over to the other side. And hip comes on, or hip, the prop comes under that other hip crease. Opposite leg posts out. And again, just take a moment or so here to breathe, let the body settle and get used to that pressure. And that nice, easy rocking forwards and backwards. Again, as far as feels comfortable, and you may even shift your weight so you can kind of come to the outer parts of the front of the hip. Kind of be coming up against the front part of the tensor fascia lata. We can take that motion from side to side. And we'll find a spot where you can rest in the center. Again, let the body relax. And then we will ease ourselves off of that prop, set it to the side for, take a couple breaths just in neutral. So head resting on stacked hands. We can maybe rock the hips from side to side. But here, as you rest for about another 5 or 6 breaths, just see if you can feel a difference between the hips, that hip girdle, that pelvic area, lower abdomen, and the upper body, the shoulders, the neck. Maybe even the side of the body, that little pocket between the hips and the ribs. And then we're going to do an upper body thing here and with the Coregeous ball. So um, I'll show you guys this first. And if you guys can, if it feels comfortable, you can do it. If not, let me know and I'll see if I can think of a modification because I was driving here today and I thought, oh, gentlemen have different real estate up top than ladies do. So if I can say that. But the Coregeous ball is going to come kind of right um, underneath your sternum, kind of right in between your pectorals. And so you're in like a supported sphinx pose. So you shouldn't be on any kind of abdomen anywhere. Is everybody okay with where it is? Okay. And a couple things you can do here. You can kind of have your hands in like a supported sphinx in a sphinx pose, or you can also bring that block here and have your head rest on the block. So there's kind of a supported rounding, almost pronation of the scapula. Everybody okay with this one? Okay. And we're going to breathe here for about 2 or so minutes. And as you breathe, see if you can just target the area between the tops of your shoulder blades and the bottoms of your shoulder blades. And just as a gentle inhale into that region, and then a gentle exhale. And with this, I kind of like to imagine with each exhale, that tension in the that gets wound into that upper back, just relaxing a little bit. And as you do this, you may discover, hey, maybe you can lower that block down to its next level. Or maybe not quite. And as you feel ready, just kind of ease your weight off of the prop, and you can set that and the block to the side. Just another couple of breaths with yourself resting against the ground. And just notice, is there maybe a sense of congruence or symmetry between the upper body and the lower body? And from this prone position, we're going to ease our way up into tabletop. So always you can grab a blanket for under the knees and have your blocks up near the front of your mat as well and your bolster handy. You won't need those quite yet, but so as you settle in your tabletop, hands a comfortable distance, same with the knees. We'll start to move through some cow and some cat. So on an inhale, starting this motion from the tailbone, inhaling, that tailbone's going to lift, which is going to cause the belly to come down and the chin to come up. And then exhale again from the tailbone. It's going to tuck under. Spine is going to round to the ceiling. Chin will tuck towards the collarbones. Inhaling again, that nice easy reversal from the tailbone, letting the movement take as long as the breath. Exhaling, rounding. So a few more times and kind of keeping, maybe tucking in the back of your mind, this idea of moving from the hips. Think not only of your spine as a chain, with the hips as the anchor, pelvis is the anchor, and the head at the end. You can also think of it as a sort of soup, uh, condensed soup version of this, but think of it as also embryologically, you sort of unfold from the center. So you're moving from the center up and out. A couple more times each way. After you're even, going to pause in your tabletop. And then we're going to take that spinal motion laterally. So on an inhale, we're going to drop the belly and then tuck it or come over to one side, arching the spine up to the ceiling, around to the other side, and back down. So think of this as you have a hula hoop, slowly hula hooping here around your midsection. Or if you are ever have seen like a hurdy-gurdy or a brace, that's probably one of the old hand crank braces. It's kind of another visual representation of what this would look like. Make sure we go both ways. Maybe also as you move, you feel that movement in different parts of your body. That spine arches and you move around. You may feel your forearms move, the weight kind of move around in your hands, move around in your knees. And then once you're even, we'll come back to center. Take a breath or two here. And then we'll find a little calf stretch. So we'll just bring that right leg back. First, toes tucking under, pressing out through the heel. So leveraging the ground to come into that stretch. We'll let that right knee come back to center. And that left comes back again, toes tucking under, using that leverage. And maybe you notice as you stretch here, compared to other times you've done this, you may notice is ask yourself, see, is there more space in the front of that hip after rolling it out? We'll let that knee come back down. And from here, we will grab the bolster. We're going to bring the bolster under our knees. So we're going to come into sort of like an elevated tabletop position here. So hands are going to be on the blocks. And we're going to bring the right foot forward. So the coming into like a short lizard. So that foot's going to come on the outside of the block. And we're going to do a little bit of isometric contraction here. So we're just going to gently, about 50%, press that inner thigh into the tricep on the right side and pressing back out with the tricep. Take some nice, easy breaths here. Maybe feeling which parts of the leg, which part of the shoulder activates. And we'll relax that pressure there and move the block to the outside. So maybe heel toe the foot a little bit more to the center. And then the same thing, you can press the leg out and the arm in. Again, 50% on the pressure. And notice as you press out and press in, any other part if you want to tense up, your tongue glue itself to the roof of your mouth. And see if you can get it to release, kind of float freely. And we'll relax that pressure. And then we're going to ease forward into more of a traditional lunge here. So I'm going to bring my blocks forward and inchworm my front foot forward. So it's kind of more in between the blocks. And then the hips are going to come nice and easy forward. Is everybody okay here? Okay, so if not, I can show you guys a variation on your back using a blanket underneath your hips. I'll be here for about another minute or so. And as always, never be afraid to shift as your body finds more space. And then using those blocks to help with some leverage, because we're kind of far in, just kind of bring them back a little bit and use that to help you shift your hips back. We're going to ease into a runner stretch here. So that front heel or front sole of the front foot kind of peel off the ground. Those blocks can walk back. They may even come on top of your bolster if you want a little bit more space. And as you're here, see if you can get those front toes to relax, that front foot to relax. Does that relaxation come all the way up into the calf, into the thigh? We'll take another 7 or 8 nice, easy breaths here. Again, don't be afraid to shift if suddenly something feels funky. And we'll nice and easy move back into kind of a lunge-ish position so we can bring that right leg back. We'll extend it behind, straight out for a couple breaths. You can roll out that ankle and then come back into your supported tabletop. And then we'll move on to the other side. So that left foot comes outside of the block on the left side, setting up for that shortened lizard, and then pressing again about 50% into the thigh, into the arm. We'll relax that pressure. Switch positions. Block comes outside, foot moves a little bit more to the medial side, inside, and then pressing out and in. Relax that. And from here, ease into that longer lunge. So I like to walk my blocks forward, and then I can inchworm that left foot a little bit closer towards the blocks, allows the hips space to come forward. And then we'll ease ourselves back. Again, we can walk the blocks back first to give ourselves some leverage into that runner's lunge position, runner stretch position. And again, blocks can be on the floor. They can come up to onto the bolster. Letting that foot relax. And nice and easy. Shifting so we can bend that front knee a little bit again, just enough so we can bring it behind. Extending, rolling out that ankle. And then from here, kind of pause and tabletop. You can maybe shift the hips from side to side. And then you're going to come and have kind of a seated position. And you can kind of sit with your knees up on the bolster, like so, kind of sit back on your heels. Or you can come in more of like a sukhasana position, or even just kind of have your shins totally on the thing so you're supported. We're going to do a little bit of shoulder um, PNF here. So we're going to start with the right hand. So we're going to bring the right hand arm out in front of us, your elbow bent, hand relaxed. And we're going to bring the left hand on top of the right bicep. And I'm just going to press up with the arm and down with the hand. Again, about 50% pressure. And we'll relax that. Bring the hand, I like to bring the bottom of the hand underneath the tricep. And then same thing, pressing down and up. With that, again, with that right hand relaxed. We'll relax that pressure, come to the outside. So the back of the hand comes to the outside of that arm, pressing out and in. We'll relax that hand, come to the inside and pressing out and in. We'll relax that and bring that right arm across the chest. So kind of cradling the deltoid. So a nice little stretch for the shoulder, especially the teres muscles, teres major, teres minor, maybe even the rhomboids. And we'll bring that right arm out to the side. And arm comes up and to the back of the head or back of the neck. And you have a couple different options here depending on your shoulder mobility. You can bring that other hand on top of the elbow, or you can just kind of let that left hand hang out if this is good enough stretch for you. Last thing, we'll unwind that. Again, arm out to the side. Turn the hand backwards and bring it behind to your left hip crease. And I like to bring my left kind of palm to the fingers here. More of a stretch for the deltoid and the pec muscles. And then maybe also, if you want to add one more layer to it, maybe that left ear tilts towards the left shoulder. We'll ease out of that. We'll unwind the arm. Head comes back to center. You roll out those shoulders. And if you want to shift seated position here, like I'm going to, you can feel free to do that. And we'll do that on the other side. So left elbow will bend, right hand comes on top of that right bicep, left bicep, and we'll press up and breathe. And release that. Hand comes underneath. Press down and breathe. Relaxing that, coming to the outside, pressing out and in. Relaxing there, coming to the inside. Again, pressing in and out. Relaxing that pressure, and then bringing that left arm across, gently cradling the tricep, upper arm. We'll release that. We'll bring the left arm up to the sky and behind the head. So again, you can kind of hang out here, or you can bring the right hand to the left elbow for a little bit more spice in your stretch. Releasing that. Lastly, we'll bring the arm out and behind, and the left, so the right palm can come to the left fingers. And then that right ear tilts towards the right shoulder. We'll release that, give the shoulders another couple rolls. And from here, we're going to come to lying on our sides with that Coregeous ball again. And that ball is going to come right in the little soft tissue uh, saddle between your hip and your ribs. And if you're going to use a blanket for this, you probably want to roll it up like a burrito. Or you could also use a bolster. This is a pose called mermaid. But you're just kind of lay over the prop, and that head can come to your bottom arm. And that top arm, you've got a couple choices here. You can have it resting on a block in front of you. You could have it resting on a block overhead. Maybe the block is between your hands. Or you could just have that arm maybe bending the elbow and kind of having the hand rest next to that bottom tricep. And you can always change the position of that arm. We'll take about another 9 or 10 nice relaxed breaths here. And as you are ready, begin to ease yourself up a little bit. Take that prop out from there and make your way over onto the other side. We should also have mentioned you could always have a block to rest your head on. Or if your arm, it's a little bit uncomfortable for your head to rest on your arm. And that bottom arm can come out in front. And then that top arm maybe come overhead. Nice and easy. We'll ease ourselves up and set up for our last uh, scripted position here. With the Coregeous ball, it's going to come right underneath your shoulder blades here, kind of right where the ladies where the bra strap would be, or the gentleman where the bra strap would be. So it's going to be like a supported fish pose. And depending on how much play you've got in your cervical spine, you may want to bring a block underneath the back of your head. I like to keep my knees bent here. And arms can maybe rest out to the side. And it's kind of like we did with that Sphinx uh, earlier, where we had the prop underneath the chest and the sternum. See if you can breathe out of the chest or the area right in between the pecs, be the xiphoid process area as well. And just take some nice, uh, 8 or 9 nice easy breaths here. Nice and easy. We'll shift so we can slide those props out from where they are. And the next couple of breaths are for you. Take any last movements you would like. Could be a happy baby, it could be a twist, or it could just be settling in. And then once you feel ready, no rush, once your body feels ready, go ahead and allow it to settle. Maybe those legs drape over a bolster, or you slide a blanket under the head for a little bit of extra support. And then just allow your body to relax against the support of the floor. Your breath to rest against the support of your body. And your mind to be at ease in your Shavasana. And to bring your attention back to your breath. Allow your breath to guide your attention back down into your physical body. Feeling the support of the floor, any props, the air on your skin. The ebb and flow of the inhale and the exhale. To feel your breath and your attention reach the outer edges. And you see if movement like to work its way back in, starting with your toes and fingers. As you feel those movements begin to ripple up the limbs back towards the center, allow them to roll you over onto whichever side feels most comfortable. As you get there, just take 3, maybe 4 breaths, feeling your feet, knees, hips, and shoulders stacked, head supported by that bottom arm. Also feeling the support of the earth, feeling the body around the breath. With the strength of that top arm, ease our way back up into a comfortable seat. Taking a minute to grab any props that would help that seat be as comfortable and supported and attentive as we can make it. Once you are there with the eyes closed or the gaze soft, we'll bring our hands together in front of our hearts and gesture of gratitude. Once again, beginning with yourselves for taking this time out of your day to breathe and move and work on those relationships with your body and with your breath. And gratitude for this practice of yoga, which provides a container for us to work on those relationships. And my gratitude to each and every one of you for allowing me to guide you through this practice here this afternoon. As always, it is an honor and a privilege. To the teacher in you. Namaste.